Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a horrendous rack, 4 I's, 2 B's. The only candidate play I can see is BD, B-I-D-I, which is probably better than changing. B-double-I will have a value approaching -10, but if I can score more than that with BD, then the play will be better than exchanging. But pretty unpromising opening rack. Oh wow, look at that. Opponent with a blank and an S. Gets off to a fine start. Do I have a BD spot? I don't think I do. Certainly not one worth considering. I have it in row G, but that opens column 15. I'm minded to change. And I'll get rid of the lot. Okay, well, I do have an S. I'm not sure this rack makes a bingo. H and Y, good scoring tiles, but not particularly bingo-y. But I can't rule out a bingo. Let me consider the floaters on the board. I'm not seeing a 7. So a couple of E's does look promising, but I'm not seeing a bingo. Nothing with the F. I have FOR as a prefix. I have out as a prefix. G. Not a million miles away from yogurts. No, not seeing anything, but this is a much better rack than last time. If I played simply Hoy somewhere, then the rack lever sort is pretty handy. But could I be missing something a lot better? I don't think, well, shootery isn't good. I don't think touchery is. Great, opponent slows down, provides an L, which can go well with the Y, with LY ending. But I'm not seeing one. Galley is good. Now, do I have anywhere for Hoy? Hoy and Galley. Well, that's 18 and that's 29. So I would almost be better off playing the S. But is there a better spot? I do want to play off one of the O's. FY is good. I don't have to play the H. The Y is the problem tile. But I'm not seeing anywhere great. Let me see what Hoy scores here. 17 points. That's even fewer. And Hoy without the S sets up Ahoy's. Sorry, Hoy without the S sets up the Ahoy hook. Opponent has partly signalled by playing Gaul that he's keeping 4 good tiles. Now, do I have anything in row I? And what about a front extension ending alley? Not seeing anything. So, slightly reluctantly, I think Hoy's for 29 is best. This rack lever is not bad. Wow, and that pickup is fantastic. I am surely bingoing now. Wow, what a draw. So column 8, ending in E. Notarise. Any double lanes? Not at the moment. So column 8, but just a ton of other options. Rows M and K, column 13, column 12. So I have notarise in columns 8 and 12. I have Arointed in column 12, which avoids opening the triple lane. Now, 25 for opponent, great, and he's wrecked his rack. So, is notarise the play? Do I need to consider anything else? I don't think opponent's opened up anything. I'm sure there are plenty of options in column 8, but notarise doesn't place a vowel. next to a premium square, so anything better is only going to be slightly better. Well, 6 vowels, not a good pick, but it was 7 random tiles, so this sort of draw will happen often enough. Look at this, just 4 points between us, despite our different starts to the game. So, what can I do here? Well, a play of Odia would leave AIO, but it would be much better if I can leave 2 vowels rather than 3. So, where can I do that? Ovoid has the similar dismerit of leaving 3. What about this R? Radio again leaves 3. Air radio, yes, that is the play, I think. Leaving just one vowel, an O. So, supposing that's blocked, do I have an alternative play? Well, not at the moment. I would have Goody through the G if there was one more square. Is there really nothing great through this V, because that would score half decently? Well, no, I'm not seeing anything. Just things like avoid and ovoid, which leave 3 vowels. And that's just asking for trouble in the sense that there's a high likelihood of drawing 1, 2, or 3 further vowels. So, what if air radio is blocked? EH only takes an S, V takes nothing in terms of 2-letter plays, so I don't have anything parallel to Vagile. What about a play through this S? Well, nothing great. I have ADOS, but again, that's leaving 3 vowels. Oh wow, opponent plays Vug for 14, and I was convinced this would be blocked since it was my only half-decent play. Score's pretty rubbish, but it totally sorts the rack out. It is providing a hot X spot, but maybe I'll draw the X, and I don't. But this looks a nicer rack. It may not be bingo-y, although it's not far off. I would have obituary through a U, and opponent's just played 1, 2 to come. But even if I don't have a bingo, I've got the boy and AY. 37 for opponent, so I trail by about 40. So I do have boy. Do I have a bingo? Could I have a 7? This doesn't feel very far off a bingo. And what about the N? That looks quite a promising floater. I would have karyotin if the B were a C. Binatory, not good. I don't think. O doesn't look great. What about the T? No. How about the S? That's not available. G? Just available. So I would have obligatory with an L and a G, and the A not good. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything. Boy is what I have in my mind on, partly because it scores well. Rack leaves okay, and it's taking out a dangerous X spot. An X could score as much as a bingo in that spot. Rack leave pretty good, goes well with N. Goes very well with S, but that's not really a bingo lane anymore. Am I missing something even better? Slightly vulnerable rack leave, an equal number of vowels and consonants. It's better to keep a preponderance of consonants, but I'm not seeing a way of achieving that with this rack. Just wondering if there's a 5-letter play getting the B tripled. Wow, it feels like there could be. Not seeing it. And is there anywhere else I should be looking at? Well, I don't think so, because there is this X danger. I'm going with this. I draw the X, of course. Now, this rack leave is pretty good. It's retain plus an X. Does that make a 7? Retain is the best 6-letter set without a blank. Onto a G, I would have retaxing. But there could be a 7 here. I have in mind that retain goes with everything apart from A and V, but that mnemonic may not be considering the high probability, the high value tiles. Now I have blocked my good X spot. Are there any other X spots? Hoys does not take an A, I don't think. Just 10 points between us. Now, what about O? Does that create a bingo? I have the Asian ending with Rex. And I have the X beginning to a word. What about the N? Onto a C, possibly Zerantic. Not totally sure about that. Now I do have an N for chin. Vug takes G, H and S. I have the anti-prefix, but it's anti-sex rather than anti-rex. Well, a 7-letter play has not come to mind. So what to do? I really want to disturb this rack as little as possible. It's not amazing for 7s, but row I is definitely a good 7-letter lane for bingos ending in E. And there are 3 good floaters in notaries. Opponent taking a while with this play, 12 minutes on his clock, 14 on mine. So I have Lanx, which would keep Tyre. Just 20 points for opponent. Created nothing great for my X. So I was thinking about Lanx, 27. So 27 points. Keeping a rack which goes well with the N. However, what about this? This is only 9 fewer points, and I'm keeping retain, the best rack in Scrabble. This is... I feel drawn to this. There's a very high probability of having a playable bingo. But is there a better spot for just the X? No, I don't think so. I am going with this. Great, I draw a D. So I have trained, detrain and anti-red. Now opponent's player pad has taken out that handy 7-letter lane I identified. I don't have a hook for Vug. So am I reduced to considering these floaters in notarize? Well, let me do that. Through the O, I have deration and arointed and rationed and ordinate. So I certainly have a bingo through the N. What about the N? Not seeing one immediately. What about the T? Not seeing one. How about the B? Wow, not seeing one. Look at that, fantastic. The O remains available. This is the second time in this game I've held my breath expecting my only spot to be blocked. So I had air radio, which I thought would go, and now the O of notarize, but it stays available. And surely deration is the play, because ordinate opens up a triple lane, rationed doesn't get doubled, and neither does arointed. So The only thing which would be better is if there's a bingo in row A, which I've overlooked. But I'm not seeing it, and this is 72 points. I'm going with this. And I take the lead, but only by 40 points. Still 32 tiles in the bag. My rack leave grim, UW pretty awful, and not helped by the B. So what can I do here? No hook for Vug. Although that's going to be a mixed blessing, because any play in row N is going to open access to row O. Onto a D, I would have wood. Row A is likely to attract opponent, but that may create a row C opportunity. At the moment, my W can go both sides of the E. Wax is good, but UW unlikely. OW is good. A lot of my plays are likely to leave a vowel preponderance, and it looks like there's quite a few vowels to come. Let me count them. 13 out of 39. So vowel dry. So it's not so terrible keeping a lot of vowels. I'm going to struggle to get rid of U and W. Although I'd like to get rid of 2 out of B, U and W. So I could play bow. I have Bowie on my rack, which reduces the vowels. Great. Bow remains available. For 38 points. Wow, that's good. And I'm just going to have to pray to the tile gods with this rack leave. Bow does take an eye after it because of rear, but then my E for Bowie fails with AEI. I'm surely not going to get more than 38 points anywhere else on the board. I have nothing which goes between A and I, so I am going with this. Well, I draw vowels, but a scoring tile in the C. I have boucle in column 1, which would sort the rack out nicely. I think that would leave 2 vowels. I don't think it takes double E. Row A, well, available for bingos beginning with N, or AN or ON. I have nuclei, but that scores very little. Boucle would score a handy amount. 20 for opponent. I'm just wondering about making it double E. Still 5 E's to come. I'm going to try this for 36, and if it comes off, which I'm expecting it to, I'll play it with just 1 E. And it's good. Amazing. And I draw the Z, which is a good scoring tile. Boucle has also created a new lane in column 2, but it's one of these lanes one away from the triple lane, so anything played in there is likely to give plays for opponent. Now, opponent bingos takes the lead, but only by 8 points. 11 tiles to come, only 4 vowels. Now, can I get value from the Z? Very close to zetetic. I'm missing a T for that. I may be able to get my Z tripled. Let me first of all consider what opponents opened in row O. C and Z are very bad for overlaps. So do I have a 6-letter play beginning with E? No, I don't. Now, what I could do is Tiz for 36 points. It scores well, and although this rack leave is awful, usually, there are so few vowels to come, this might be quite handy. And 36 points is a lot. Very hard to turn that down. I don't think I can do anything better than that. Let me see what T scores, 19. But I don't particularly want to hang on to heavy tiles without scoring spots for them and with very few vowels. So I'm coming back to zit for 36. Do I have a 6-letter play beginning EZ? I don't think so. 10 minutes on my clock. Zex is good. So I could play ZE and ES. But I think if I don't play in this spot, well, opponent's not guaranteed to have a play, but he could have one. What would ZE score? 34 points. Wow, tempting. Definitely leaving a better rack leave. And I'm just wondering how close this is to a bingo, because there is column 2, there is row O, there's row A, and there's column 14. I trail by 8. And I'm partly driven by how dangerous this spot is. And no scoring tile can go underneath the I. Opponent would need to have an E to go underneath the R. And he's going to be burning a lot of vowels to get anything at all. And there's only 4 vowels to come. I think I've convinced myself to go with ZE for 34. So I draw. Wow, this is so close to a bingo. But I don't think I have a 7. And column 2 is such a nice 7-letter lane. I have, oh wow, I have nicotine in row A. Fantastic. Fantastic. Surely that's got to remain available. Opponent can't possibly be contemplating blocking that. He must be drawn like a moth to the flame to row O. Probably some WI or KI play, and nicotine's going to remain available. And I lead by 26 points. Fantastic. I guess he could block that with a 6-letter play in column 14. So do I have an alternative bingo? Is there really nothing as a 7 here? Just not seeing it if there is. Just coming back to check that I haven't miscalculated in terms of having the tiles for nicotine. I don't think I have. And I draw one of the remaining vowels, which is good. So pretty much anything opponent does is going to use a vowel, unless he just plays a couple of consonants in row 8. In column 8, rather. 7 minutes on opponent's clock. I think nicotine is going to be the hammer blow. Remaining tiles just not bingo-y at all. Opponent would need a perfect rack to bingo, something like sported in column 14. In which case, opponent would win. Unless I've got a bingo elsewhere on the board. Just wondering if I were to be blocked from playing nicotine, whether I could still fish for a bingo. Column 2 is so nice. And opponent plays just 21 points, 2 consonants. So here we go. Time to drop the hammer. Bang! 85 points. And wow, mustn't celebrate too early. Opponent's got a ridiculously good set of 7 tiles. If he bingos, he wins. And there's column 2. Does he have a bingo? Nicotine, not a oh, and he does. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Gosh. And the final score, 431 for me, 457 for opponent, a winning margin of 26 points. So many congratulations to opponent. Let's see what I missed. Wow, that remaining pool was so gruesome. And opponent had the 7 tiles, which gave him a bingo. Now, it was opponent to go first, plays Refuges. I have this horror show, Contemplated Biddy, that didn't like the rack leave. And G12, yeah, that's placing an I in column 15, so I'm happy with my change. Opponent plays Gaul. Just sorting out duplicates and keeping Veal, which isn't terrible. Phew, no missed bingo here. H13, Shorty, that's nice, 32 points. I play Hoys for 29. Yeah, Shorty probably slightly better. Opponent's rack plays Vagile. And now I have this really good rack, G5. E Galley is good. Galley takes an E in front, so there was a big overlap play for 79. And then the column 8 plays for 74. Wow, missed bingo. Very difficult to see. Pagurids as a double-double through the R of Notarize. Wow. And opponent plays 14, Vug for 14 instead. And of course, Pagurids would have blocked my air radio. And there was an alternative play which, and I'm looking at the plays down here, which left 2 vowels, Adagio M1 through the G, and well, a few others elsewhere, but some of those are through the R. Opponent's rack plays G. Phew, no missed bingo. I played Boy for 29, but there was Borty for 8 more points, leaving AI. But I think after Boy, the rack leave of AIRT is definitely the best of the leaves down here, so I like my play. Opponent plays Pad. Phew, again, no missed bingo when there could have been. And I drop 20 points here just to leave myself with an amazing rack leave of Retain, which is just superb. So I'm happy to take that 20-point sacrifice. Opponent plays Aim. And now Ordinate scores the most, but opens up column 15. So I'm happy with my play. Opponent's rack. No bingo, but close. Plays Far. And I have Bow for 38. So here we go. I lead by 40. Opponent plays Jut. I have Boucle for 36, also playable with 1E. And I lead by 50. But opponent bingos with Sunnier. And now I trail by 8. So G12. Zeit, that's hopeless, putting an E in the middle of column 15. So I still like my play. Opponent's rack, not fantastic. Plays Div. Nicotine is the only bingo, so I have to play that. And then look at this. Opponent has Teminos and Tonemes, both of which are winning plays. So what a game. Absolutely immense fun. Very, very exciting. I thought towards the end of the game when I had Nicotine that if I was able to get that down, it would be a hammer blow for my opponent. And it wasn't. He had 7 great tiles and was able to bingo out to win the game. And I think this game just illustrates just how exciting and thrilling Scrabble can be. So many congratulations once again to opponent on his victory. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.